Hey, South Hills Church, this Christmas season is in full swing. Many of us probably feel like we are in mad scramble to fit everything in. We're buying gifts, attending parties, snagging sales, making last-minute travel plans, trying to create memories with our families. These aren't bad things, but are they causing us to miss the moment of reflection on the greatest gift that we have been given? I want to remind all of us to slow down this Christmas and remember what it's really all about. Christmas is the perfect season to focus on generosity. This is the time of year when we are surrounded by the spirit of giving. It's not just about the gifts under the tree, it's about the joy created when we give to others. Your generosity can and does make a real impact. In fact, your support here at South Hills helps create meaningful experiences, supports our community outreach, and ensures that ministry continues to happen. So thank you for the way that you are faithfully giving. I want to show you a quick look at where our budget is so far this year, based off of your giving. These numbers reflect the overall budget we set for the fiscal year. You'll also see the amount received based off of your tithes and offerings. And finally, you'll see the current difference in our budget that we need to make up before June 30th. As you've heard me say this before, it's important to be transparent with our budget and let all of you know where we are as a church. And as we approach the end of the year, it's a great time to be thinking about how we can make a difference through our giving together.
We try to fold the Christmas story into something simple and sweet. But the characters aren't at all two-dimensional. And the forces that sought to sabotage them are still a threat to you.
One of the things that gets us going, one of the things that we remember about past Christmases, anybody have any idea? Like if I remember a past Christmas, great memory, what is it about that Christmas that makes me remember that Christmas? And usually it's that present that you wanted. The online voted Christmas Vacation as the #1 Christmas movie out there. And I don't hate it. I don't hate that. I love that movie. But on that list was also A Christmas Story. Remember that movie where you wanted a BB gun and then you'll shoot your eye out? Okay. So there's a reason why that movie is so successful. And that's because we all remembered being a kid and wanting that special toy. Do you remember that? One thing that you really wanted. Now, I'm going to show my age a little bit here, but before Google and Amazon, there was what? The Sears catalog. And the Sears catalog was delivered to your home, kind of like they delivered the Ark of the Covenant. It was so thick that a lot of people had to kind of come in and put it down. It was about that thick. And it literally had everything you could ever want. I mean, anything. And so my family, what they would do is we got to thumb through the Sears catalog and then circle what we wanted. Now, if you know my family, you know that we are gigantic football fans. We had 9 boys of the grandkids. So at every family event, there was a football game. We just grabbed a football and we went out and played. There was no video games. There was nothing. We went out, we played football, and then we went swimming afterwards. That was like our family events, right? And especially at Mark's house. Mark had like the coolest area for that. But it was really fun. But we were Rams fans. That's why to this day, we're still gigantic Rams fans. And I remember wanting football action figures so bad that I would make other toys be the football action figures. But there was this one year, as we were thumbing through the Sears catalog, that I saw they actually made football action figures. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it when I saw it. In fact, when I went back, I actually found the actual advertisement for those, and we have that. This is what I saw that Christmas. It's all pixelated, so you can't really see it. But that's the page that I saw, and I was like, wow. I remember I got, of course, the Rams. I got the Raiders and the Chargers, which they just played, and I think the Raiders are still scoring. And then I got the Cowboys. I got the Cowboys too. It was so cool. I got those 4 teams, and I loved it. And I'll never forget that Christmas, because it was like that thing. Maybe you had a Barbie or a car or a bicycle or a skateboard or whatever, and you had a remote controlled something. I mean, you remember that one Christmas that you got. Does everybody have that one memory of that? Yes, that thing that I wanted. And that's what really made, for me, when I told the girls about my Christmas, I was like, that's what made me really fall in love with like this time of year more than ever. And I thought, but where does this come from? So where does this idea of gift giving come from? Because as a kid, it's a magical time. You race downstairs, you want to see what's under the tree. It's great. But where does the tradition come from of gift giving? Well, it comes from the Magi. Or people call them the 3 kings or the 3 wise men. Now, who are the Magi? The Magi are basically like royal philosophers. They studied the stars, extremely intelligent. They had the ear for royals. Royals would depend on them. They were very important people. And they knew all about the prophecies. And a lot of scholars believe that they actually came from Persia. And how would they have known the prophecies from Persia? They actually trace that back. A lot of scholars trace this back to when Daniel, the prophet Daniel, was in that area, and they had that legacy from him. But they knew exactly all about the prophecy. They knew all about it. So when they see this star, because they're studying the stars, when they see this, they recognize this is very, very different. This is not something normal. We know what stars look like. That is something extremely unique. And they were able to put together, that's the prophecy. It's happening. So they trace it to where it's going to land, and they go to Herod and they tell Herod, hey, history is about to happen. This whole thing is about to fall on your doorstep. And Herod's like, okay, great. As we know, Herod's crazy and he's maniacal. But let's revisit this story. Matthew 2:1 says this: after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, where is the one who's been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all of the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him. Obviously, he wanted to kill him. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened up their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. This is where gifts come from. This is where we get it from. This is what these gifts had meaning. In this case, it was who Jesus was, the journey he would take, and the meaning of his life. So each one of these gifts was extremely, extremely personal. Every tradition has a different way of gift giving, but it seems like in our culture, we took this story, and ever since then, we've tried to one-up the Magi, okay, with bigger and better gifts. And if you don't believe me, here's what I mean. California residents are projected to spend $1,732.14 per capita this year. That number does drop in Idaho to $829.73. In Virginia, that's $1,506.86. And in Ohio, that is $947.28. 1/3 of Americans took an average of $1,550 on holiday debt last year. Okay, that means they spent over their budget, $1,550 on gifts. 25% of Americans are still paying off their gifts that they purchased in 2022. So they're buying gifts for each other, and they still owe money for last year's Christmas, okay? And in 2022, Americans spent $586 billion, with a B, on gifts, and spent $247 billion on decorations, cards, and food. And over the last 3 years, over 50%. Anybody guess on what people gave? That's over 50% of people gave. It was actually gift cards, okay? There's nothing wrong with getting people gift cards. if you got some gift cards you would like to give to Pastor James, I will gladly accept them. There's nothing wrong with gift cards, okay? But when you're talking about the very first gifts that had these meanings of who Jesus is, what his life represents, all these things, how do we get from these meaningful gifts that are very personal to just giving gift cards away now, because it seems a little bit more impersonal. Now, I think for a lot of us, we kind of just exchange gift cards, right? It's like, hey, I remembered you. Here's a gift card for $50 to Walmart. Oh, thank you. Here's your $50 gift card to Target. We kind of just swapped gift cards or whatever. But like, how did we get from these personal gifts that that person, you know exactly who they are and what they would like to something like that? Okay, how does that happen? Now, there is actually a word for this, and it's something that we've all fallen victim to, and the word is consumerism. That's kind of where it comes from, okay? Now, what is consumerism? Consumerism is a preoccupation with consuming more and more goods, merchandise, and service. Now, before we start to get too judgy, we've all been there, guys. I mean, how many times have you seen an advertisement with a guy like a cord wrapped around his body? Are you tired of that old vacuum cleaner? Yes, we'll get the new one with no cord. It's like, yeah, I gotta have that. Or are you tired of this old thing? Well, you gotta get the new thing. That old iPhone, you need to turn that in and we'll give you a brand new one, and this one is titanium. Well, does it matter because you're going to cover it with a phone case anyway, but this one is titanium and it's got the best picture ever. Guys, I don't know if I'm just, not techie or whatever. I have an iPhone 13 and it takes the same pictures as my own phone 10. I don't really notice a big giant difference, but I've got to have the brand newest one because that's the thing. And that's what consumerism tells us. I've got to have the new thing. My life depends and my happiness depends on getting the new thing, and that will complete my life. Then I will be good. Then I'll be satisfied. Now, if you're not sure if you've ever fallen victim to consumerism, here's an easy way to find out, okay? If you're like, have I ever found that? Okay, here's an easy way. If you are blessed to have a garage and you cannot park your car in said garage, you've fallen victim to consumerism. Because really, it's really just a museum of stuff you had to have. Otherwise, my life's not going to be complete, right? So you got old clothes in there, honey. You never know if bell bottoms are going to come back. We got to leave that in there. You've got skateboards and workout equipment and supplements. When you said, I'm going to have supplements in my every diet. All these things are loaded in your garage, and you can't park your car in your garage. And all these things said, I had to have this so that I could be complete. Okay? Now, the Bible doesn't actually use the term consumerism, but it does reference what that looks like. And Jesus actually says, you got to be on your guard of it. Luke 12:15 says, then he said to them, watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist of abundance of possessions. Guys, I'm not judging you. You have not seen Pastor James's shoe collection, okay? Like, I'm not judging you here. This is something we've all got to look in the mirror about, right? Okay? Now, here's the deal. What does this look like? An abundance of possessions is what consumerism is all about, but those who pursue that path are missing out on the point of life. One writer called consumerism salt water. You're always going to be thirsty. It's never going to be satisfying to you. Okay? Now, it's one of the reasons why people are so stressed out this time of year. How am I supposed to buy all these gifts? I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is going to be really, really tough. And why is this so destructive this time of year more than any other time of year? If you focus on things, you'll miss out on people. We don't have enough bandwidth to focus on it all the same. We just don't. So if you're focusing on the things you want, you're going to miss out on the people in your life. And that's where it gets to be a bit of a problem, okay? And we focus on the good news of great joy for all people that the angel said to the pretty good news of, for some people, and really it's not any more than just a lot of debt for me at this time of year. And that's kind of our focus kind of shifts. Now, Christmas for many just means consumerism, debt, and wish lists rather than a celebration of God come near. This is a celebration, you guys. It's a birthday party. This is something we need to celebrate and not something that we got to be stressed out about and how many gifts we're going to buy people. Now, let me be clear, guys, again, because I don't want you to misunderstand. I love gift giving. I love it. I'm a fan of it. I'm glad that I want to give the Magi a high five one day and say thank you for starting that tradition because it made Christmas so much fun. I love gift giving. I love it. I'm not suggesting don't do it. Please do it. Continue to do it. Your family looks forward to this tradition, okay? But I'm just saying maybe just look at it as it's not the main thing. And maybe just look, do I have the budget for this? Spending within your budget doesn't mean spending nothing, right? You still spend within your budget, and you could be more thoughtful. It doesn't mean spending nothing. Paul actually talks about the importance of gift giving or being generous. In 2 Corinthians 9:8 says this, and God is able to bless you abundantly so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. As it is written, they have freely scattered their gifts to the poor, their righteousness endures forever. Now he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your store of seed and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. You will be enriched in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion. And through giving, you perform is not only supplying the needs, but overflowing in many expressions of God. Now this includes a lot. This includes actually generosity. This includes what Pastor Moses was talking about in the very beginning. I have to be generous. I don't have to keep more and more and more. That's not what God wants you to do. He's saying be generous with that. Be generous with your finances or your time or whatever. But this also includes gift giving. I've been blessed. I know you so well, I'm going to use some of my blessings and I want to bless you with something. It's gift giving and it's great and we love doing it. Now, I have given Melanie a lot of gifts in our years together, okay, a lot of gifts. And I want to make something clear when I say thanksgiving to God, because you're like, what does that look like? No, I have never had Melanie open up a gift and see it, and it was like, and bust out in a worship song, right? She's not like, oh, how great is our God, sing with me. Like, she's never done that, right? But when she opens up something that I've given her, she feels heard, she feels seen, she feels appreciated, she feels like you are paying attention. You are paying attention to things I like or the things that I'm interested in. It's not about how much it costs. It was like, wow, you get me, you know me. Every year I get excited because every year I know she gets me a new Hawaiian shirt. And it's me, right? It's totally me. Melanie would never buy me a tie, right? Or socks. So like this is something that like okay, we get each other. You feel seen and heard and it's great. And you could do all that and still stay within your budget. Now, this year, guys, I wanted us to do something. I want us to take from the example of the Magi. And I want us to really focus on these gifts that could be very personal gifts, okay? Now, when you look at the original gifts, and if you say, how can I take the example from those to give to people around me? And some of you are thinking right now, and I think some of you are probably thinking, great, Pastor, I agree with you. You take frankincense, you take myrrh, I'll take the gold, we're good. No, it's not exactly that particular thing, but here's what it could be. Here's how you can start. Take time to write 5 specific detailed things you love and appreciate about the people closest to you and share them in person or in a card. That is so cool, right? It's a good idea. I'm just giving you ideas. This is a cool idea. You can get something within your budget, but then add this to that. They would feel so seen and so heard and so valued and so appreciated. So you might want to really look at that, okay? Now, if you're feeling pressure right now, here's a few ways you can do this, okay? So before you start buying things for others, ask yourself these questions. Can I afford to spend this amount? Ask yourself that question. Okay, first off, can I afford it? The next one is, how many presents do we actually need to buy? What did we do with all the presents from last Christmas? That's a good question, right? Are they in our museum, in our garage? What did I learn from my spending habits last year? Think about that. What did I learn from that? Okay, my point is in giving you these suggestions is not just to fill our stuff with more stuff, but rather make it personal so that the people in our lives can be heard and seen. Now, I do have suggestions for you, and these are not from the Bible. These are just suggestions for you, because my point in today's message is to make our gift giving not something that stresses us out. That gift giving to be personal and meaningful. And so that's really my point in telling you this. So here are some ideas, and you could take them or leave them, okay? But the first one is spend time together. And here are some ways you could do it. You could host a dinner party. You could have everyone bring a prayer request, share with the group or not. You could spend time encouraging and praying for the people God put in your life. You could create together, do a puzzle, paint a picture, bake cookies, build a fort, write a song, make jewelry, garden, take photos. You could be present. You could make it a habit to have one technology-free night. Turn off distractions, spend quality time together. You could actually even buy a devotional book, and you can go over that devotional book with somebody that you know. It's really cool when you do that. It's weird that when you don't know somebody that well, but you do a devotion with them, you get to know them pretty well. Next one is purchase with a purpose. Now, guys, I am not suggesting don't buy from Walmart or Target or Amazon or anything like that, but try if you can to shop local, Try to support some of these local businesses if you can, and get to know the local business owners in your city, in your community. They're trying to do the American dream on their own as well. You can find companies that give back as well. The next is serve someone. These are cool. You could actually make a Helping Hands coupon book. What that looks like is you give vouchers in your family. Is there a voucher to babysit or do the yard work or the dishes or walk the dog? You could take someone to lunch after church. So instead of giving a gift card, say, you know what? If I see Kim, I was going to give you a gift card, but I'm going to take you to In-N-Out, and me and you are going to go hang out after church. That could be like a lot cooler than, they're volunteer at church. We're having services next week. I am sure Angela can absolutely use the help. There's 2 services. You can go to one service. You could serve at another, or tech or hospitality, certainly. You could bake cookies and make a thank you card for someone that regularly serves your community. That could be cool to be to go to your police station or fire station or first responders and go and just say, we baked these for you. We just want to thank you. Merry Christmas. We love you. We appreciate what you do for our community. And then one is, you could try something new, cooking. And we did all that. You could, if you can't afford a photographer, go to the beach, take family photos with your iPhone. It doesn't have to be an iPhone 15. It could be any phone, right? And put together a family basket night. Wrap up some popcorn. Merry Christmas. We're going to have a movie night. We have candy in the package and all the other goodies and drinks and stuff that we're going to have a family movie night. You can make it personal. You could pray for everyone on your Christmas list before purchasing their gifts. You have your Christmas list, pray for every one of those people before you buy them something. Find presents that celebrate the hobbies and passions of someone else. And the last one is just share your talents. Celebrate the talents that God has given you and share those with others. You could throw a dinner party, take photos, knit a quilt, play music, write a children's story, plan an adventure, organize, clean, whatever it is your gifts, you can give it to somebody. Guys, I want to make something super clear here. All the things on this list are extraordinarily expensive, but they are not going to cost you a lot of money. Time is far more valuable than money. Far more. Lasts a lot longer. Most valuable possession. I want more. All of you coming here. There's a million other things you could be doing. Right now is one of the busiest, I think, weekends of the year, right before Christmas, because people are trying to get all the last minute stuff, right? And you guys are, thank you for your time. That's a big deal, right? And if you don't believe me, ask anyone who's terminally ill. They will tell you time is the most important asset you have. And this is actually doing that. Here's what I mean when I say this, okay? Any Dodger fans here? Yes. It is a good time to be a Dodgers fan. I'm just telling you. All right. The Dodgers just signed Shohei Ohtani, right? Yeah. There he is. I love you, Shohei. Now, they just signed Shohei Ohtani to a very big contract now, but I know there's talk of deferment, but I want to paint a picture of my point this morning. Okay? Shohei Ohtani gets $700 million for the next 10 years. That breaks down to $70 million a year. Okay? However, the Dodgers play in California. So Shohei Ohtani is going to pay $36 million of that in taxes and take home $34 million. Trust me. I mean, no, we're never going to see that kind of money ever. But to give you an idea, right? He's paying over half a year in taxes on that money. In fact, I just saw something in Orange County Register that Southern California, with its $1 trillion economy, is actually is more than 18 states combined. Just Southern California. Let me give you this very blunt. with taxes like that, there shouldn't be any homeless people in this state. So if money is the fix-all, right, then we should be able, especially homeless veterans. Because those are people that actually put their life on the line for us, right? So this is not a political thing. This is, trust me, all the parties have messed this up royally, okay? We clearly don't have people who understand how to spend their budget wisely, clearly. But money is clearly not the answer. The answer is generosity. The answer is you could use that money. You can use money in so many positive, helpful ways. When you tithe here, we're doing ministry with it. All the other churches are doing that. But if you were to tax these people and say that money is going to go here, and here's where your money is going to, and they itemize where your taxes go to, and they say it's going to go to these counseling appointments and these other benefit areas, instead of just throwing up a thing and saying go live in there, there's going to be other ways you can help these people. And there is no way we should have a homeless problem when all that money is coming about. But we're looking at the wrong thing, you guys. It's not about money. It's not about I'm going to buy you this $2,000 bracelet even though I can't afford it. That's not the point of gift giving at all. It's the point is, let's go back to the first gifts that were out there. And let's make this Christmas the most personal and meaningful one. Not about who spends the most, because clearly it's not about the money. Guys, your greatest gifts, I'm guaranteeing you, your greatest gifts are very personal. The best gifts you can have are the most personal. If you get a gift from somebody that knows you really well, that's your greatest gift you have because they know you so well. Friends, nobody knows you better than God. He created you. Nobody knows you better than God. And God says, I know exactly what you want, and I know exactly what you need. You want freedom from sin. You want freedom from guilt. You want freedom from shame. You want me to take away your fears and anxiety and stress and pressure. You want me to give you an eternal home in heaven. You want to feel secure. You want to feel good about who you are. You want to be confident. You want great relationships. That's what you really want. I know because I made you, and that's the present I gave you on Christmas, my son. And it's available to everybody. I love you so much, John 3:16. I love you so much that I'm going to give you my son. Merry Christmas. You'll never want for anything else again. That's the power of what we all get. We go, yeah, I get it. I saw the manger and I saw the nativity scene, but there's a sale at Nordstrom's and I got to make sure I crank out as much money as I can. Even if I don't have it, I'll charge it, right? But if we pause and we go, hold on a second. I got a gift that is going to last forever and give me everything that I've ever never wanted. And I need to talk about it. Grow a bigger club for Christians. We want people to know. People go, I invited my friend. I don't know if they're going to come, but they can't stand church. I love them. Great, come on in. I couldn't either. So I could speak their language. I could translate. I'm okay. That's what we get. Instead of worrying about what you're going to spend, make it personal, guys. Let's dream together, and let's make this the most personal Christmas we can make for somebody else. Let's do that. I'm here to this family. We got very soon. It's fun, Joe. Let's really concentrate on making this the most personal Christmas ever. Let's concentrate on giving the most personal gifts ever. Attach something to it of why you love that person. If you can't write 5, write 1. I love you. Here's whatever I bought you. But one of the biggest reasons I care about you is because of your generosity, because of your smile, because you called me that one day when I really needed somebody and I was really hurt, because you gave me a hug when I felt ugly that day. Whatever it is, write it down and hand that to him. I guarantee you that's going to last longer than whatever you bought him. Let's pray. Father, I just thank you so much for your church. I thank you for the unbelievable gift we have in you. Because of you, we have the greatest gift ever. And something that we will never, ever get bored of. And something we have eternity, God. Help us to take a bold step and see their gift is. I don't want anybody in our lives to allow our friends to leave. I want to make sure there's another gift under that tree. It's too. Help us to lead our friends and our family who don't know you, and help us to lead them to say, free. You Matt. Is all about. We love praise kids.
South Hills Church, I just want to take a moment and say thank you for watching our service online. Whether you're watching it for the first time or you're watching it again because you enjoyed the service so much from the weekend, I'd like to take a moment and dive into our giving. Every week we give people the opportunity to give back and give to the local church so that God can continue to bless your lives and bless your finances. Here at South Hills, we believe that everything comes from God. We believe that He's the one that chose us and brought us into this world, gave us our gifts and talents and abilities. And I just want you to know that when we give, we are giving back what God has already given to us. If you've ever seen any of our envelopes at a South Hills campus, you'll see on there that it says, every week at South Hills, your generosity is giving people the opportunity to live a better story. And there's a scripture on there in Matthew chapter 6, verse 21 that says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So I want to encourage you today to click down below and set up your giving, whether it's for the first time or whether you're doing reoccurring giving. We have 4 ways to give here at South Hills. 1, you can do it in person at any of our campuses through an envelope. Or 2, you can actually text any amount that you would like to 84321. And the 3rd way is to download our Church Center app. I encourage you to do this one because the Church Center app gives you opportunity to stay connected with our church and your campuses. It's a great tool and resource for you to know what's going on. And the 4th way to give is to give online. You can go to southhills.org/give and you can set up your giving there. Whether you're a guest of our church or whether you are a member of our church, or whether you simply just like to watch our services, I encourage you to trust God with your finances so that He can bless and anoint your finances, and you can be trusting God in this journey of living life to the fullest. I love you, and thank you for watching our online service today.